The Detroit Lions have just become the center of news that could completely change the course of their season. That's right, Detroit fans are in shock because one of the youngest and most promising players on the roster is already being touted as a candidate for one of the highest honors an NFL defender can receive. And we're not talking about just any name. It's Brian Branch, the safety who, in only his second season, is capturing national attention. What PFF just published about him could be a turning point for his career and for the Lions' prospects this season. Before I reveal all the details of this update that's blowing up online, please like the video here because it really helps spread the word to other passionate Lions fans, and you'll want to follow every detail of this historic moment. This just happened and is already dominating conversations. Brian Branch, the Lions' young safety, has been listed in an early prediction for the 2025 All-Pro team. And it's not just any prediction. The PFF rankings, the NFL's leading performance analysis website, have placed Branch among the names that could make the league's elite this season. To give you an idea of the magnitude of this, he's already ranked second to make the first team at safety, trailing only Tampa Bay Buccaneers star Antoine Winfield Jr. In other words, Branch's name is already being floated among the best in the world at the position, even with only 4 weeks of games played in 2025. And what makes this even more impressive is that Brian Branch isn't just participating, he's dominating. In 4 games, he's already recorded 1 forced fumble, 5 passes defended, and 18 solo tackles. Those who follow the games know Branch is flying around the field, always in the right place at the right time. There were several plays where he came inches away from intercepting the ball, and it seems like only a matter of time before he makes his first major interception this season. If that happens, it could be just the final push needed to solidify his All-Pro status, something that would be historic so early in his career. But what's most impressive isn't just the numbers, it's the way he's transforming the Detroit defense. Detroit was already attracting attention for its powerful defensive line, but now with Branch elevating the secondary, the defense as a whole has become a nearly insurmountable wall. To give you an idea of the magnitude of this, the Lions are currently holding their opponents to less than 300 yards of offense per game. That statistic alone would be encouraging, but when you consider that key players like Alim McNeill, Terrion Arnold, and DJ Reed are still recovering, it's clear that this defensive sector can reach even higher levels in the coming weeks. And here's a detail that may surprise many. According to PFF analysis, Branch currently ranks 11th among all safeties in the league in overall grade, with a 79.9 grade. That's already incredible in itself, but what's even more remarkable is that he's second in pass defense and leads all safeties in sacks so far. We're talking about a player who can impact both the passing game and the pass rush, something that's extremely rare. This versatility puts him at a level very few players achieve. Of course, he still has room for improvement. The fines and some on-field excesses show that Branch is overly aggressive on certain plays, something he himself admits he needs to control. But this is typical of a young player in the process of maturing. And if this is Branch's weak point, imagine when he reaches full maturity. We're looking at someone who could become not only an All-Pro, but a true defensive leader in Detroit for years to come. And that's where the big question arises. If Branch maintains this level and actually makes an All-Pro team, he'll not only be on the radar as one of the NFL's top prospects, but he'll also position himself to soon become one of the highest-paid safeties in the league. This means the Lions will have to prepare financially to retain this star, but at the same time, it means the future of the defense is in good hands. The truth is, we're witnessing the birth of a new star in Detroit. Brian Branch isn't just a young prospect with potential. He's already delivering performances worthy of the league's best. And if PFF is correct in his prediction, this could be just the beginning of a trajectory that will put his name alongside legends at the position. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Brian Branch already deserves this recognition, or is it still too early to consider him an NFL All-Pro? Leave your opinion in the comments because this will spark a great debate among fans. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this update, like the video and subscribe so you don't miss any breaking news about the Lions.
This just happened and is already dominating the conversation in Detroit. The Lions are at the center of a potential trade that could completely change the course of the season. NFL sources indicate that the team is not only monitoring the market, but is also strongly encouraged to make a major trade before the deadline. And we're not talking about just any name. This is a pass rusher who could further transform Detroit's defense and alleviate pressure on Aiden Hutchinson. But before revealing who the target is that has fans buzzing, please like the video here because this news promises to generate a lot of discussion. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments on this potentially bold move by the Lions front office. The Detroit Lions have started the season impressively with a 3-1 record, heading confidently into their Week 5 matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. Unlike in previous years, this team is showing consistency in all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. The energy is radiating from a squad that knows it can fight for the top spot in the NFC and repeat the dominance it displayed last season. But it's precisely for this reason that, amid all this optimism, speculation is growing that the Lions may attempt a strategic move in the market to further strengthen the roster. The big question is, will the front office take this step now when everything seems to be falling into place, or will it hold on for the future? The biggest concern is clear: defensive depth. Recent injuries to Marcus Davenport and DJ Reed have raised an important alarm. While Dan Campbell's group has shown strength thus far, last season's experience taught a painful lesson. A single wave of injuries is all it takes for the defense to quickly lose consistency. And that's precisely where the idea of an immediate pass rush reinforcement comes in. Sports Illustrated analyst Matt Verderame was adamant if the Lions want to stay on top and truly make 2025 a historic year, they should invest in Carl Granderson, edge rusher for the New Orleans Saints. And here's the detail no one expected: Granderson isn't just another solid rotation player. At 28, he's seen as an underrated but extremely effective prospect. This season, he's already accumulated 4.5 sacks and 16 solo tackles, numbers that not only attract attention, but also force opposing offensive coordinators to redesign their game plans. Imagine the impact of having Hutchinson on one side and Granderson on the other. It would be practically a nightmare for any quarterback facing Detroit. But like any deal of this magnitude, there's a catch, and that catch could stall the move. According to Verderame, the Lions could close this deal by offering a third-round draft pick, a price that, for many, would make perfect sense considering the immediate impact Granderson would bring. However, there's a difficult hurdle to overcome: his contract. The defender has an $18 million salary cap hit in 2026 and 2027, something that could influence management's decisions. After all, Detroit still needs to reserve cap space to re-sign key players like Aiden Hutchinson and Brian Branch, as well as other young players who are part of the team's future. Signing a multi-million-dollar deal now could complicate these negotiations down the road, and that's why this rumor takes on even more dramatic overtones. On one hand, the chance to transform an already strong defense into something practically unbeatable, placing Detroit as one of the NFC's biggest favorites. On the other, the risk of compromising financial planning and sacrificing the core the franchise has worked so hard to build. It's a true crossroads: bet heavily on the now or preserve the foundation for the coming years. This is the question the board needs to answer quickly, as the trade deadline is less than a month away. It's worth remembering that moves like those for Trey Hendrickson and even Micah Parsons have been considered in other conversations, but they always seemed unfeasible, precisely because of the extremely high cost and the immediate impact on the salary cap. In this sense, Granderson emerges as a more realistic candidate, a middle ground between significantly strengthening the roster and not compromising the long-term future. Even so, there's no denying, any choice will divide opinions among fans and experts. What's at stake here isn't just a one-off reinforcement, but the Detroit Lions' identity as a franchise. Will the team fully assume the stance of an immediate contender, willing to spend draft capital to acquire impactful players now? Or will it continue to rely on patience and the development of its young core? This is the question that's igniting conversations in Detroit, and you can also leave your answer here in the comments. So, I want to hear from you. Would it make sense for the Lions to part with a third-round pick and invest in Carl Granderson, even with the weight of his contract? Or is the best course of action to trust what's already working and save those chips for the future? Leave your opinion below because this debate is promising. And of course, don't forget to like it because that way you support the channel and don't miss any updates on the Lions' next steps this season. Let's go, Detroit Lions!